Yeah, this is a reply video to Nick, the Modern Mystic. Really don't know where to go with this. He's basically saying, in the video anyway, that this intelligence thing can only label this whatever. We can only label our intelligence with our intelligence or some kind of stuff. Well, anyway, it doesn't work for me. In the past, his point has been that he wouldn't use the word programming, but that we are basically programmed, and that a great truth that comes out of that is the idea that I have a greater capacity to influence you than I have capacity to influence myself. I mean, I can't tell myself what to think or how to, even what I'm saying now isn't something I contrive. Okay, my brain does it, I don't do it. The programming does it. It produces the content that becomes me. And so, but this idea that it's all just a label is the part where, you know, I just can't accept his video. I just can't accept it, because it's not just merely a label. Intelligence is a real thing. Whether we call it knowledge on one end, you know, the output might call wisdom. I mean, really good intelligence, really well organized knowledge we could call wisdom. These might be grades of intelligence, and whether we think of intelligence as a noun or a verb, I mean, obviously when our brain is working, it's a verb. Okay, when it's what it produces is a noun. Intelligent behavior, I guess, is a noun. All right, so, well, who cares? I don't want to get into the, you know, clarifying what kind of grammar we're going to use to discuss what intelligence is. But intelligence is in our minds, in our brains, it has to do with an arrangement of programming. Just like in a computer, the intelligence is in the programming. It is in the software. It's held. It's given a place to operate within the hardware. But it is the software that manifests intelligence by ordering, by composing a knowledge base, it could be called. What is stored and what is retained and what is remembered and what is learned, and then creating an output, a production that would have a quality of being intelligent. And I don't see any point in implying that there's no such thing as stupid or intelligent. No, there are different things. They're not just the same thing. It's not just words. It's just not meaningless words. They do mean something. There's difference between a description and a label. I mean, we don't just label what our brains produce. We describe what they produce. And sometimes they produce a quality output, and sometimes they produce rubbish. And it isn't just some arbitrary decision that says which is which. You know, our brains are made to think rationally, to model reality, to understand the world we live in. That's the way it's been built. It would be of no evolutionary purpose if it was something that just fooled us and deceived us and prevented us from thinking rationally. If we're going to think, there's no point in not thinking rationally over time. I mean, in the short run, lies might get you somewhere. I mean, in the short run, we've used the lie of God and the delusion of God to empower a civilization. But in the long run, we see where that civilization is because of that bullshit. Because of that delusion that has kept us from seeing the simple truth of what we are. And what we are is basically bacteria with brains. And we have this huge knowledge base now. That's what civilization has given us. You know, we had the same brain 50,000 years ago, and it was full of shit. And now we filled it full of understanding and knowledge and wisdom. And so now we can interact with this world in a much more elegant and productive way because of what we know and what we understand. And we can define who we are and what we are, and then engineer ourselves a way of living that is sustainable and rational, that is productive, that efficiently feeds the machine that we are. And the machine is the bacteria part, the part that just is built to consume, built to need, built to want. It is built to reproduce in the end. Now we can say we can make more of our lives than that. But we still have to be careful of that consumption. We still have to be mindful of the fact that it's not free. You just can't take. You can't just feed this machine without necessarily maybe having an impact on the rest of the world and on other human machines and under biological creatures attempting to eke out something called a life out of this system. And so, there's no point in beating this to death, but I mean, yeah, there's this idea that's, Nick said you can't use your intelligence. Well, of course you can, just like you can't use your funniness. Well, yeah, if somebody holds up a sign in front of me and says, try to be funny, well, then I will try to be funny. My brain will be told to do that. It will search through the funny programming and try to find something funny. And likewise, it can do that if a sign is held up, try to be intelligent. Well, it'll try to be intelligent. It'll search through its knowledge base and attempt to find the concepts it has labeled, it has identified as intelligent and big-brained ideas. It'll find that stuff, and so it'll try to be intelligent. And what's the difference whether it's the sign in front of me or whether it's a sign I put in my own head? If the intelligence throws that sign up as part of its processing, be more intelligent. Okay, I'll think some more. We can even do that. Our intelligence can say, nah, you're not coming up with the right answer. Think some more. Okay, we can use our intelligence. Our intelligence can compel us to use our intelligence, as stupid as that sounds. But yes, it's all programming. It's all predestined. He doesn't want to use that word. He doesn't want to use determinism. But it is determined. But it doesn't matter. It's an interesting fact, but it has no meaning beyond recognizing that we are programmed machines, that we're not spontaneously going to be anything, that we have to build it within ourselves. If you're going to have character as a human being, you have to build that programming. If you're going to have value as a human being, you have to build the programming, okay? Over time, you have to allow those ideas have to manifest themselves in you. It's not even so much allowing them, but obviously if you have your wheels are turning and they're just ignoring that reality and the only thing they're turning for is what you're scheming for, well, then you need a new idea. A new idea needs to be injected in your brain to say, no, stop the steamroller, stop it, okay, and now use your brain for something a little better than scheming for what you want. Now use it to scheme, to think, to achieve some kind of better understanding. Some broader understanding, and then use it to sit there and maybe attempt to figure out how you can be a more productive influence in the world, where you can be worth something, okay? Because your value isn't going to be internally assessed, it's going to be assessed based on your impact. Did you inspire intelligence in other people? Did you inspire better behavior in other people? Did you give them the tools to think better, to be more intelligent? Those are questions you have to ask yourself. And those are, that's what life is. Life isn't you. Life is your effect on this whole thing called humanity. And that's how we got here, was through 10,000 years of individuals trying to inspire other individuals to be better human beings. And some of it was just built out of human beings being greedy and bastards and assholes. And there's a lot of exploitation that we're built out of. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can make the world any way. We have control. We have the power. There's no forces stopping us from making it better, from fixing it. And the only thing stopping us is the fact that we don't have the right ideas in people's fucking heads. And so we have to try to put better ideas in people's heads.